Yo guys, what is good? It's your boy Jamong here, back again with another video, and today we're going over the top 10 most anticipated sneaker releases of late 2023. Alright, so honestly, this video is long overdue. Now, I was supposed to drop this around early September, and because of my sneaker reviews and then my top 10 back to school sneakers, I just could not squeeze this one out. Now, by the time this video comes out, it's probably gonna be around early October, but still, there's a ton of new sneaker releases coming that are just so hype, so fire, and I'm all for them. Now, before I start this video, if you guys haven't checked out my other videos in this series, which are the most anticipated sneaker releases of early 2023 and mid 2023, make sure to go check those out afterwards. I think the early 2023 video did pretty well. You know, by now all these sneakers have already released, but still I think they're really entertaining videos that, you know, I'm pretty proud that I made. Now, I've just been really impressed with the sneaker releases of 2023. Now, if you guys have seen my previous videos, I've been saying throughout the entire year that when it comes to 2022, those sneaker releases sucked. It was just a huge flop. I just feel that all the sneakers that were released in 2022 were absolutely terrible, with the exception of maybe like 5. But when it comes to 2023, especially within these next coming months, these next releases are absolute bangers. And if I could do a top 25, top 20 video on the best sneaker releases upcoming this year, I would, but that would just take a long time, so I had to narrow it down to only 10 sneakers. With that being said, I feel like all 10 sneakers on this list are pretty big bangers that are coming up. Probably 9 out of 10 of them I would cop for myself. So with that being said, these are the top 10 most anticipated sneaker releases of late 2023. Let's hop into it. Alright, so coming in number 10 on this list, we do have the J Balvin collab with the Jordan 3s. Alright, so I'm gonna be real, by the time this video comes out to you guys, the sneaker would have already released to the public. This sneaker releases on September 23rd, which is a week from the time that I'm filming this. But nevertheless, if it wasn't for the fact that this is the earliest release, I would have put this so much higher in the list, just because these are well anticipated. Especially for me, I've always loved color schemes where there's a gradient. I love the little transitioning from purple to pink. They just look so beautiful. I didn't like the J Balvin Jordan 1s or the Jordan 2s, but the Jordan 3s are honestly a different story. I would definitely cop these in a heartbeat. Now, I know this is probably going to be one of the more limited releases of this year, so chances are a lot of people are going to be taking L's, and StockX prices will probably be pretty high. But if I were able to cop one for myself, I don't know if I would resell or if I would keep for the personal, just because this is a beautiful shoe. Like, I'm gonna be honest, these warm tones of purple and pink are not really my vibe, but just because of that gradient, I'm all for it, and I do love this shoe a lot. It just looks so good, especially with the Nike Air on the back. That's how you know it's gonna be a banger Jordan 3. I mean, for those of you guys who, you know, are not really that into sneakers, you might ask yourself like, hey, what's the difference between the Nike Air and the Jumpman? But those of you guys who are sneakerheads, you know when there's a Nike Air on the back tab that this is a fire sneaker. I can't even explain it, I just know, everybody knows, because the Nike Air is just so much better. So here at number 10, we do have the Jordan 3 J Balvins. Alright, next up on this list, we do have the Jordan 1 Low 85s in the neutral gray colorway. Now, I can't remember if it was last year or 2 years ago when Jordan Brand released the neutral grays in the modernized Jordan 1 Low cut. I believe that release did do pretty well. A lot of people did go after them. It's just a simple shoe that is a Jordan 1 at the end of the day, and I honestly like it a lot. I think it's pretty simple. It's an everyday sneaker. And this time, Jordan Brand is releasing pretty much the same colorway in that 85 cut. Now, I kind of have some mixed opinions about this, just because I feel like Jordan Brand could have probably went with a different colorway. I mean, we already saw the neutral grays released over the last 2 years, so I think that to have another release of the neutral grays is probably going to saturate the market a little bit. But still, because this is a classic 85 cut, a lot of people are going to go crazy for them. There's just something about the classic model of the Jordan 1 85s that a lot of old school sneakerheads love. But because this is a Jordan 1 low, I don't necessarily think it qualifies as an OG Jordan 1 85, just because in 1985 the Jordan 1 high was the first Jordan Jordan to be made, but because this is a Jordan 1 low, I feel like it takes away from the OG classic vibes that the Jordan 185s normally give off. Still, like I said before, this is a neutral gray colorway, so it's very wearable, and I think that anyone who probably missed out on the original Jordan 1 neutral grays are probably gonna go for the 85 cuts. And since Jordan Brand has just been making a lot more quantities nowadays, I'm pretty sure a lot of people are gonna get their hands on this pair. But yeah, the Jordan 1 low neutral grays are a simple everyday sneaker, especially if you're a student. This is a perfect shoe just to wear to school. So here at number 9 on this list, we do have the Jordan 1 lows 85 cuts in the neutral gray colorway. I forgot to mention that these are dropping on October 25th, so we're gonna see them in probably about a month from now. All right, next up on this list, we do have the Nike SB Dunks with the Powerpuff Girls collab. In my opinion, I don't love the Powerpuff Girls collab. I feel like they could have done a little bit more with the collab, putting at least some more themes to it, putting maybe the Powerpuff Girls embroidered on the SB Dunks, but they simply made the shoes like all blue, all green, and all pink. And then the one detail that they did add are the Powerpuff Girls eyes in the back of the shoe, which I think is kind of scary. It kind of gives the mummy vibes from the SB Dunks, but they're not as cool. But still, from my opinion aside, I still have to put these on the list just because these have been very anticipated throughout the year. Now, a lot of people have just been talking about them. Even if you're not necessarily a fan of Powerpuff Girls, I don't know why the sneaker community just loves whenever SB Dunks have a special collab with a certain brand or TV show. Like for example, earlier this year, we just saw a release with the Jarritos and the SB Dunks. Now, this wasn't on any of my lists just because I forgot about it, but still, this is probably one of the best sneakers of the year so far. And even though people don't necessarily drink Jarritos, it still went crazy. So for that reason, I still think that the Powerpuff Girl SB Dunks are gonna go pretty popular, and it's just kind of weird for me to see grown men wearing the Powerpuff Girls on their feet, but still, I gotta give credit where credit is due. We do have the Powerpuff Girl SB Dunks coming in number 8. These released on December 14th, so pretty close to Christmas time. You can gift them to your girl, or you can gift it to your own man. And again, I just find it so fun. This is the Powerpuff Girls. I probably won't cop for myself. All right, moving on to number 7 on this list, dropping on December 2nd, we do have the Nike Mac Attack with the Travis Scott collab. Now this year, for some reason, the Nike Mac Attack has just made a huge comeback in the sneaker community. I think this is just one of the classic sneakers where someone famous and influential wore them, and a lot of people saw them. And yeah, that's how the shoe probably got popular. I don't know much about the Nike Mac Attacks, but we do see that this is gonna be a Travis Scott collab. Now, my only opinion on this is that this is pretty much in the same colorway as one of the OG Nike Mac Attacks. The only difference is that the swoosh is obviously flipped, and that automatically makes it a Travis Scott collab. I feel like they probably could have done other colorways, maybe more themed of Travis Scott. So like they could have done like brown or any earth tone colors. They didn't necessarily have to just copy the navy and gray pair, but still, I would probably copy if I was able to snag a W on this pair, just because it is a Travis Scott collab, and I'm all for that reverse swoosh. Now, I don't listen to Travis Scott's music necessarily, but I do love all of his collabs when it comes to sneakers. They're just pretty cool. I love the concept of them, and I think the Nike Mac Attacks definitely deserve a spot on this list. So here at number 7, we do have the Travis Scott Nike Mac Attacks. Alright, so continuing with the flow of Travis Scott, here at number 6, we do have the Travis Scott Cut the Checks. So first off, this isn't your ordinary Travis Scott collab with Jordan. This is Travis Scott's own personal sneaker that he made. Now, these are called Cut the Checks. I don't know how I necessarily feel about the silhouette, but again, because this is Travis Scott's own personal shoe, I would love to try them out for myself. Now, I don't know how I personally feel about the shoe. I gotta see them in hand, but still, I would try copying them just because this is Travis Scott's own shoe with Jordan. Again, we see that reverse swoosh, and when it comes to that little detail, everybody goes crazy. So I do think that a lot of people are going to be going for these on release date, and I know that on the resale market, these are going to go wild. Now, we don't have an exact date on when these are going to release. Chances are they probably won't even release until 2024, but we are still anticipating them to release sometime by the end of the year. I think the cut the check sneakers match a theme that he has implemented on other Jordan collabs. I can definitely see some reverse mocha in here, some inspirations from the olive pair of the Jordan 1s. So yeah, I don't think that these are going to be too different from the Jordan 1 lows, but I'd still love to try out a new sneaker. I feel like when it comes to the sneaker community nowadays, there's just been the same sneakers releasing over and over again, but we definitely need to see some new silhouettes and new models coming out. So this is exactly what Travis Scott is doing, and for that I have all respect. So here at number 6 we do have the Travis Scott cut the checks. Alright, moving on to number 5 on this list. Once again, we are sticking with the Travis Scott theme. We do have the Travis Scott Jordan 1 Low Golfs. Now rumor has it, and these are probably true, that this is going to be Travis Scott's last collab with Jordan 1, so we probably will not see any more Travis Scott Jordan 1 collabs. I'm pretty sad to hear that, just because I have loved every single one of his collabs. Even though they're so hard to get and so expensive, I think that each one of his releases just go crazy, and I'm all for the hype of that. However, with the Travis Scott Jordan 1 Low Golfs, I feel like they're not going to be as popular as the previous releases with his collabs, just because, again, this is a golf shoe. A lot of people were joking. They were like, does Travis Scott even play golf? So this is going to be a Jordan 1 Low golf shoe with more aggressive traction patterning. So we're not going to see our traditional Jordan 1 outsoles, and along with that, we're also not going to get the Nike Air on the tongue tab. We're going to see the Jumpman, and again, like you guys know, when it comes to the Jumpman, not a lot of people love it. A lot of people just love the Nike Air better. Still, this is a Travis Scott collab, so I feel like I'm definitely a bias for all Travis Scott collabs, but I would definitely go for these. I think they look decent. I don't think that they look like the nicest sneakers, but I'd still go for them just because that reverse swoosh is beautiful. I'm just looking now at a picture, and I'm seeing that the swooshes are actually different colors within the inner and the outer of the shoe. So we have a black swoosh on the outside along with the white swoosh on the inner. I don't know how I feel about that, but still, again, this is a Travis Scott Jordan 1. We're gonna see these release on October 13th, so that's pretty soon. So here, number 5 on this list, and the end of the Travis Scott collabs, we do have the Travis Scott Jordan 1 Low Golfs. Alright, moving on to number 4 on this list, we do have the Jordan 1 Satin Breads. Now, when it comes to the bread colorway of the Jordan 1s, sneakerheads absolutely go crazy. Now, this iteration of the shoe features a satin upper, and I know a lot of people don't love the satin upper, but still, do I think the shoe is going to sell out? Definitely. I believe this sneaker is only going to be releasing in women's sizing, so for you bigger dudes out there, I'm sorry, you're going to be missing out on them. And yeah, like with most Jordan 1 bread iterations, this sneaker is just going to be extremely popular. Now, personally for me, I don't know how satin material works on shoes. Like, I don't know if it's efficient, just because I wouldn't want to see that satin material get all worn down as I'm wearing a shoe. I feel like it's definitely for the looks of it, but for the functionality, I don't think that satin on a sneaker is the best material. Now, these are expected to release on October 18th. I'm gonna go for them just because this is a classic Jordan colorway, and who doesn't love that bread colorway? I don't know if I would keep them, but definitely I see some resale value in them. So here at number 4, we do have the Jordan 1 Satin Breads. Alright, moving on to number 3 in this list, we do have the Kobe 6 Protros in the reverse Grinch colorway. Now, this sneaker is supposed to be sort of an inverse with the colorways of the Kobe 6 Grinches. That sneaker I still love so much. I hope I get it sometime in my life. Even though they're basketball shoes, I would definitely just wear them for lifestyle. I don't know why. I just love the green colorway on the Grinches so much. But for those of you guys who did miss out on the Grinch release of 2020, we're going to be seeing the reverse Grinches. And I know, especially nowadays, Kobe 6s, actually Kobe shoes in general, are just really popular just because everybody wants to pay the respects to Kobe Bryant. So I think this is probably going to be one of the most popular releases of 2023 by far, especially since this does release on December 16th, so very close to the holiday season. I can definitely see people waiting online for these shoes, just a gift to their sons, their grandsons, and whoever else, just because who doesn't love a pair of Kobe's for Christmas. Now I don't know how these are going to be doing on the resale market. Now I know they're probably going to be high, but I don't think they're going to be anything compared to the price of the Kobe 6 Grinches. But if I was able to get a pair of these, I'd probably trade them for the original Grinches, just because I would definitely love to see them in my collection. But still, this is a Kobe 6 Protro, so I know a lot of sneakerheads and basketball players who are sneakerheads are going to be going for this sneaker. So here, number 3, this is definitely one of the most popular shoes of the year. We do have the Kobe 6 Protros in the reverse Grinch colorway. All right, moving on to number 2 on this list. This sneaker is honestly my personal favorite of the 10. We do have the Jordan 5 AMMANER collabs in the Photon Dust colorway. Now, when it came to AMMANER and their collab with the Jordan 3s, that was the best collab by far. Then they came out with the AMMANER Jordan 1s. That didn't do so great. Then they went with the 4s. They also didn't do too great. Definitely with the Jordan 12s, they flopped straight up. But now we're seeing the AMMANER Jordan 5s. Just when you think that the AMMANER collabs are getting worse each time, we see the Jordan 5s come out in this crazy colorway. I just love this a lot. Now, I don't own any Jordan 5s in my collection, so if I'm able to get a pair of these, I'm definitely keeping them for sure. As you guys might know, with the off-white Jordan 5s, they took out the padding around the ankle part of the shoe to make it less fat, because when it comes to Jordan 5s, they're so bulky just because there's so much padding in that ankle area. But with both the off-white Jordan 5s and this AMMANER release, they have a slimmer silhouette, which I love that so much, and I'm all for it. And I just love the small accents of blue on both the midsole area as well as the sock lining, and it just looks so beautiful. I love that shade of blue. I think it's probably one of my favorite shades of blue out there. Now, we are gonna see these released during Thanksgiving time on November 22nd. Maybe these might be like a Black Friday drop, but I don't know. I definitely want my hands on these though. They're so beautiful. At number 2, we do have the Jordan 5s AMMANERs in the Photon Dust colorway. And finally, at number 1 on this list, we do have the Jordan 1 REimagined in the Royal colorway. Alright, so with the reimagined take on Jordan sneakers, so far we have seen the Chicagos, or the Lost and Founds as you guys should call it. And then we have also seen earlier this year, they released the reimagined Jordan 3s, and finally they're releasing the reimagined Royal Jordan 1s. The Jordan 1 Royals are a classic sneaker. Everybody loves this colorway, and we haven't seen the Royals drop in a minute now. But now Jordan Brand is releasing the Jordan 1 Royals in this reimagined take on them. However, they're not necessarily the same thing. Now, as you guys can see, this sneaker is not made with regular leather. It's gonna be featured with suede, and I don't know how I feel about that. Honestly, I kind of like that a little bit better, because I feel like that aged down look definitely makes it look a little more wearable. I feel like with an all leather upper, even though that's the classic look of the Royal Jordan 1s, it was always so glossy and they just look too new. So I'm excited to see what these look like in hand. Now, these are dropping on November 4th. And up until the end of the year, I feel like these are going to be going crazy in consignment shops. People who took L's on this pair are definitely going to be copying them for the personal. Now, we'll have to be honest though, out of the 3 reimagined sneakers that we have saw so far, these are probably going to be the least sought after. Now, with the Lost and Found 1s and the white cement 3s, you know, they aged it down a little bit, but at least they kind of looked very similar to the original sneaker. This one, they completely changed the construction of the shoe. It's a suede upper instead of a leather, so this is a drastic change. Not a lot of people are gonna like that, but still, for others, I can definitely see why they might put this up at number 1 of the sneaker of the year. So I'm kind of excited to see what all the discussion and conversation is gonna be about on this sneaker. So closing it out at number 1 on this list, we do have the Jordan 1 Royals with that reimagined take to them. I'm a pretty big fan of them, and I'm gonna be going for them. Alright guys, there we have it. Those are the top 10 most anticipated sneaker releases of late 2023. Now, I would like to hear from you guys. What are your thoughts on all these sneaker releases coming up for the future? Are you a fan of them? Are there certain ones that you don't necessarily like? And what do you think my opinions are on the shoe? Do you think that there's other shoes that deserve to be in place of these 10? Do you think that I placed some shoes too high or too low on this list? Let me know in the comments, because I would definitely want to hear from you guys. And if you guys guys like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. And if you guys want to hear more from me, smash the subscribe button. Guys, I think we're almost at 400 subscribers. So if you could please do me that favor of subscribing. It only takes a second out of your day, and I would really appreciate the support. With all that being said, these are the top 10 most anticipated sneaker releases of 2023, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.